The progress of mankind is most commonly associated with the evolution of technology. Technology itself can be defined in many ways, but the general notion is that it is the medium to making human life simpler and more efficient by making desired goals achievable more accurately. Thanks to the use of technology, industries have made it possible for the masses to have an expansion of choice along with the freedom to make the best possible decision of what they would want to purchase, given a variety of alternatives for commodities. Free choice is what influences the generation of economic growth in modern industrial societies on the basis of market competition through the creation of these commodities. Inevitably, there are consequences to everything. The aftermath of the existing rate of arbitrary production and too much free choice being shrinkage in human satisfaction and lack of environmental sustainability. And we are in dire need to rectify these consequences.
Today we have choice and more variety than ever, especially so when it comes to consumer goods. This abundance of choice is associated with freedom, as one is not confined in the decision making of purchasing these goods. Now, the counter effect of the wide variety of choices combined with the independence to choose anything and everything has led to the generation of a term that best describes such a relation. This idea is defined as tyranny of choice. Now, the need for such a notion to exist has arisen after an insightful examination of the abundance of choice and the role it plays on the human psychology.
The way to maximize freedom is to maximize choice. The more choice people have, the more freedom they have, and the more freedom they have, the more welfare they have. This, I think, is so deeply embedded in the water supply that it wouldn't occur to anyone to question it. And it's also deeply embedded in our lives. Conclude. You're supposed to read this cartoon and, being a sophisticated person, say, what does this fish know? You know, nothing is possible in this fishbowl. Impoverished imagination, a myopic view of the world, and that's the way I read it at first. The more I thought about it, however, the more I came to the view that this fish knows something. Because the truth of the matter is that if you shatter the fishbowl so that everything is possible, you don't have freedom, you have paralysis. If you shatter this fishbowl so that everything is possible, you decrease satisfaction. You increase paralysis and you decrease satisfaction. Everybody needs a fishbowl. This one is almost certainly too limited, perhaps even for the fish, certainly for us. But the absence of some metaphorical fishbowl is a recipe for misery and, I suspect, disaster.
So the conceptual framework of this theory, according to my opinion, is far from being flawed, just because it really does make one wonder what the reason behind providing us consumers with all these different options. And it's not really just about the options that we have been provided, but just the variety that is in thousands and millions in most cases. Besides the more obvious point that having a lot of variety differs one from making a decision more quickly, but having an extensive range of choices in general to look at is rather demotivating for most individuals. And it can actually lower one's confidence and attachment with what they end up buying. As designers, we should really consider the environmental impact of each and every prototype that we are coming up with and each and every finalized design that we're going to be sending out in the market, and that it's really a bigger deal than we've made it out to be. It's already showing up in various forms in parts of the world, and I think we're pretty much okay for the next 40, 50, 60 years. But the thing is that we would be leaving behind a world that really has nothing more left to it or more to offer. I think one thing to also consider is that good design is not really about adding wheels on an iPhone case or adding nostrils on an iPhone case or coming up with a bunch of different colors. And the sad part is that a lot goes into making these products, and most of these products end up in landfills just because they are infused with different materials and are practically not recyclable. So the bottom line is, we have the realization of the power of our choices, and we have the competence to know how to influence it for the conservation of not only our environment, but the conservation of our morality. We must realize now that it's not about how much we can progress further, but it's about what we can achieve with the evolution of technology for our environment, not against it.